There comes a moment in every connection where the mask slips, where the silence, the distance, and the armor of emotional walls crack just for a second. And in that second, you see the truth. They feel something. They may never say it out loud. They may never confess it directly. But if you know what to look for, their actions will scream what their words are too afraid to admit. The avoidant already loves you. Most people get lost in the confusion of the push and pull, the mixed signals, the hot and cold behavior. They mistake silence for rejection. But the truth is, behind every avoidance wall is a heart that longs for love. A heart terrified of being hurt again. And if you've noticed certain shifts in how they treat you, you're not just another passing chapter in their life. You are the person who's getting past their defenses. So today, I'm going to give you the roadmap. 8 undeniable signs that the avoidant has already fallen for you, even if they'll never say the words. And once you recognize these signs, you'll never feel confused again. You'll know exactly where you stand. When an avoidant lets you into their space, it is never accidental. For them, space is survival. It is how they protect their heart, how they manage their emotions, and how they maintain control in a world that has often felt unsafe. Most people don't understand just how sacred their personal environment is. Their room, their home, their daily routines. These are their fortresses. These are the places they go to hide when life feels overwhelming, when intimacy feels suffocating, or when fear of rejection becomes too loud to ignore. So when you find yourself invited into that world, it is not a small gesture. It is monumental. You see, an avoidant isn't like everyone else when it comes to connection. They don't bring people close easily. They don't share their inner world freely. Most people only get to see the mask, the version of them that's safe, controlled, and untouchable. But when you're allowed into their space, whether it's sitting on their couch, joining them in their favorite quiet spot, or even just being part of their daily rhythm, you've broken through a barrier. It means they've decided, even if unconsciously, this person isn't a threat to me. This person can see a part of me others can't. Think about it. When an avoidant lets you into their world, it's more than physical space. It's emotional space too. They may not tell you their deepest fears yet, but by allowing you close, they are telling you, I want you here. It's their way of saying, I trust you enough to see me when I'm not performing, when I'm not trying to be in control. They're showing you the raw side of who they are, the part that craves closeness but is terrified of it at the same time. This might show up in small, subtle ways. Maybe they ask you to hang out in their home, a place they usually keep closed off. Maybe they're comfortable enough to let you see them in their unpolished state, tired, unfiltered, not perfectly put together. Maybe they start letting you in on their daily routines, the small habits and rituals they rarely share. These may seem ordinary on the surface, but for an avoidant, these are acts of intimacy. And here's the truth, avoidants don't give away space to people they plan to discard. If they let you in, it means you're not just a guest. You're becoming part of their inner circle, the part of life they protect the most. It means in their own quiet way, they already feel something far deeper than they are willing to admit. When an avoidant shares their silence with you, it's one of the most powerful, unspoken signals of love you'll ever witness. Most people underestimate silence. They fear it, they rush to fill it, they interpret it as distance or disinterest. But for an avoidant, silence is not emptiness, it is safety. It is the one place where they don't have to perform, explain, or defend themselves. Silence is their comfort zone, and they protect it fiercely. So when they allow you to sit beside them in that quiet, without running, without shutting down, without trying to escape, it's not because they don't care, it's because they do. Think about what that really means. An avoidance world is often filled with pressure to open up, pressure to engage, pressure to connect in ways that feel overwhelming. They're used to people demanding words from them, demanding proof of love, demanding constant reassurance. But when they find someone who can sit in the stillness, who doesn't need to force conversation, who doesn't panic in the quiet, it feels like oxygen to them. It feels like they can finally exhale. And in that exhale, love begins to grow. Sharing silence doesn't mean they have nothing to say. It means they trust you enough not to say anything. They trust that your presence alone is enough. They trust that you won't abandon them if they aren't entertaining, if they aren't constantly engaging, if they aren't performing love the way others expect them to. That is a rare gift for someone who has built their life on the fear of being judged or rejected. Picture it, sitting together, no words, just being. Maybe it's a long drive where neither of you feels the need to force small talk. Maybe it's watching a movie together in total comfort. Maybe it's just lying next to each other, listening to the sound of breathing. These are the moments when the avoidance guard comes down without you even noticing, because in their silence, they are letting you see their truest self unguarded, unpressured, at peace. And here's the key. If an avoidant repeatedly shares these quiet spaces with you, it's not coincidence. It's their way of saying, I feel safe with you. I don't need to hide. I don't need to run. Silence becomes their language of intimacy, their hidden declaration of love. To the outside world, it may look like nothing, but to them and to you, it's everything. When it comes to an avoidant, words often fail them. They might struggle to say, I love you. They might hesitate to express their emotions, and sometimes they may even appear distant in their language. But if you pay attention closely, you'll notice something powerful. Their actions speak louder than anything they could ever say. For someone who has learned to guard their heart, actions are the safest way to reveal feelings. And when those actions consistently show up, they are quietly telling you, I love you. Even if their lips never form the words, it's easy to get caught up in the lack of verbal reassurance. Many people believe that love only counts if it's spoken, but an avoidance language of love is often different. Instead of long conversations about feelings, they show you through effort. Maybe it's fixing something in your home without you asking. Maybe it's driving across town just to make sure you're safe. Maybe it's remembering the smallest details you thought they ignored. Each of these gestures, though subtle, is their version of intimacy. You see, actions are safer for them because actions don't expose them to rejection in the same way words do. Saying, I love you, risks vulnerability. Doing something loving, on the other hand, allows them to show care while keeping their defenses intact. But make no mistake, these consistent acts are not random. They are intentional, and they are directed toward the person who has captured their heart. Think about the small but repeated things they do for you. Maybe they make sure your car has gas before a long drive. Maybe they quietly check in to see if you've eaten. Maybe they send you something useful because they remembered you needed it. These moments may not look grand, but they reveal something deeper: effort. And effort, especially from someone who avoids closeness, is a sign of commitment. The truth is, anyone can say words. Words can be easy, even empty, but actions require energy. They require thought. They require presence. When an avoidant chooses to invest their energy in you, it means you are not just another person in their life. You are someone who matters deeply. Their actions are the blueprint of their love. And if you learn to see beyond what they don't say, you'll realize they've been telling you they care all along, just in the only language they truly trust, the language of what they do. For an avoidant, routine is everything. Their routines give them structure, predictability, and a sense of control in a world that often feels uncertain. They hold tightly to their habits, their schedules, and their rituals because those patterns protect them from feeling overwhelmed or vulnerable. So when you notice that an avoidant is willing to break their routine for you, it is not just a small adjustment. It is a massive act of love. It means you've become important enough for them to step outside the safety of what is comfortable. Imagine someone who never changes their daily rhythm, wakes up at the same time, eats at the same hour, follows a familiar pattern. To them, this consistency is not boring. It is security. Yet suddenly, they're willing to shift that schedule if it means spending time with you. They'll stay up later than usual just to hear your voice, or they'll rearrange their day to fit you in. That's not casual. That's not coincidence. That's their way of saying, you matter more to me than my need for control. This change might seem subtle on the surface. Maybe they cancel something they normally would never miss just to be with you. Maybe they open up a part of their day they usually reserve for solitude, and they allow you to enter that sacred time. For them, these choices feel risky because routine is safety, and if they are risking that safety for you, It's because you've reached a place in their heart that few ever reach. Breaking a routine also signals trust. Avoidants often fear that closeness will mean losing themselves, but when they bend their patterns to include you, they're showing that they trust you won't take away their freedom. They're showing that your presence doesn't suffocate them. It adds value to their life, and that realization is one of the clearest signs that love is already there. So the next time an avoidant does something out of character for you, don't dismiss it, notice it, appreciate it, because for them, it's not just a small gesture, it's a declaration. It means you've become more important than their comfort zone. And when an avoidant gives up even a piece of their routine for love, it's because their heart has already chosen you. Jealousy is a powerful emotion, but when it comes to the avoidant, it rarely shows up in loud or obvious ways. They won't usually declare, "I'm jealous." They won't openly compete for your attention, nor will they create dramatic scenes to prove their feelings. Instead, their jealousy slips out in subtle, almost unnoticeable behaviors. But make no mistake, when it appears, it is a deep signal that they are emotionally invested, that they care about you more than they're comfortable admitting. An avoidant spends much of their life trying to remain detached. They tell themselves they don't need anyone, they don't rely on anyone, and they're fine being alone. But the moment they feel that quiet tug of jealousy, all of that emotional armor begins to crack. They may not verbalize it, but inside there's a strong reaction. I don't want to lose this person. They matter to me more than I expected. And that feeling terrifies them because it means they've already let you in. You might notice it in the way they go quiet when you talk about someone else. They may not argue or show anger, but their energy shifts. Maybe they change the subject, or they ask a seemingly casual question that reveals they were listening closely. Perhaps they suddenly want to know more about where you've been or who you've been with, though they phrase it in a light, almost dismissive way. These small hints are their form of jealousy. It's never about controlling you. It's about their fear of losing the rare bond they've built with you. For someone who avoids attachment, jealousy is proof of attachment. It's proof that you've moved from being just another person to someone irreplaceable. And because avoidants struggle with vulnerability, they'll rarely confront this feeling directly. Instead, they might withdraw slightly, test the waters, or act a little colder than usual, not because they don't care, but because they care too much and don't know how to handle the intensity. The important thing to remember is this: jealousy in an avoidant is not about possession, it's about revelation. It reveals that their heart has already chosen you, even if their mind is still fighting it. Those subtle signs of protectiveness, those small moments of discomfort when they feel someone else could take your attention, those are their unspoken love letters. They may never say the words outright, but in those flashes of jealousy, you're seeing the truth: they've already fallen for you. For an avoidant, perfection is armor. It's the shield they've carried for years to protect themselves from judgment, rejection, and vulnerability. They work hard to appear composed, capable, and in control because underneath that exterior lies a fear they don't want anyone to see. The fear that if someone gets too close, they'll be exposed as not enough. So when they start letting you see their flaws, it is one of the most intimate and powerful signs of love you can receive. It means they've chosen you as someone safe enough to witness the parts of themselves they usually keep hidden. Think about how deeply significant that is. Avoidants spend so much time trying to avoid situations that make them feel weak, needy, or imperfect. They'll often distance themselves when emotions get heavy, or they'll retreat when mistakes are made. But if they are willing to let their guard down and show you the cracks, it means they trust you not to use those cracks against them. They trust you not to run, not to ridicule, not to turn away when they're no longer presenting their polished image. This might look like them admitting something they're insecure about or sharing a story from their past that reveals pain they usually keep locked away. It might show up in the way they let you see them when they're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed, moments they usually hide from the world. It could even be something as simple as saying, "I don't know," when they'd normally pride themselves on always appearing strong. Every one of these moments is an act of vulnerability, and vulnerability is love in its rawest form. When they reveal these flaws, They're not just being honest with you. They're testing whether your love can hold them as they are, not just as they present themselves. And if you respond with acceptance, patience, and compassion, it strengthens their connection to you. They begin to realize that love doesn't mean constant performance. It doesn't mean being flawless. It means being real. So when an avoidant lets you see the parts of themselves they once swore to keep hidden, don't take it lightly. It's not weakness. It's trust. It's their way of saying, you matter enough for me to risk being seen. And when they take that risk, it's proof that love has already taken root in their heart. One of the clearest patterns you'll notice with an avoidant is their tendency to pull away. It's almost like clockwork. Things start to get close, the connection deepens, and suddenly they retreat to someone who doesn't understand their psychology. This feels like rejection. It feels like they're running because they don't care. But here's the truth. If they always come back after pulling away, it's not detachment, it's love trying to find its footing. Their retreat is not the end of the story. It's part of their process of navigating feelings that overwhelm them. Avoidants fear losing themselves in intimacy. They've often learned, sometimes very early in life, that closeness equals danger, that opening up equals pain. So when they start to feel real attachment, alarms go off in their system. Their instinct is to create distance, to step back into the safety of solitude where they don't feel vulnerable. But if that was the whole story, they would never return. They would pull away and stay away. The fact that they keep coming back to you again and again reveals something powerful. They can't deny what they feel. Think about what that cycle really means. When they distance themselves, it's their nervous system trying to reset, to catch up with the emotions they're experiencing. But the pull to return shows that you've become more than just another connection. It shows that no matter how strong their defenses are, their heart keeps guiding them back to you. That back and forth is not proof of disinterest. It's proof of deep attachment struggling to break through fear. You may notice it in the way they reach out after days of silence, as if nothing happened, or how they suddenly show up with effort, wanting to reconnect after pulling away. They may not apologize or explain, because vulnerability is hard for them, but their return is the apology. Their return is the confession. It's them saying, I can't stay away because you matter too much. And here's the key: consistency in their return means love is already there. If you were just temporary, they wouldn't circle back. They wouldn't risk stepping toward closeness again. But when they keep coming back over and over, despite their fear, despite their instinct to run, it's because their connection with you is stronger than the walls they've built. That cycle is not rejection. It's love, learning how to breathe. When an avoidant starts talking about the future with you, even in the smallest ways, it is one of the most significant signs that they've already let love take root. For someone who fears intimacy, the future has always felt uncertain, even dangerous. They live in the present because the future means commitment, expectations, and the possibility of disappointment. So when you notice them saying things like, next week we should, or when we go there together, understand that those words are not casual. They are evidence of deep emotional investment. Avoidants usually avoid painting pictures of tomorrow with anyone. They prefer to keep connections temporary, flexible, and without long-term promises. But the moment they begin including you in their vision of what's ahead, it means something inside them has shifted. It means they've stopped seeing you as a passing presence and started seeing you as part of their ongoing life. And that is not something they give away lightly. Sometimes it won't sound like a grand declaration. They might not say, I want a future with you, outright. Instead, it may appear in subtle mentions. A concert they want to attend with you months from now, a trip they imagine taking, or even a casual moment that ties you into their plans without them realizing it. To them, these are safe, throwaway comments. But to anyone who understands the avoidant mind, these words are groundbreaking. They show that your presence has become natural to them, expected, woven into the fabric of their days. And it's not just about the words. The energy shifts when they start talking about the future. Their planning becomes less about me and more about we. They begin adjusting their mindset to include you, even if they don't fully understand why. For someone who has built walls to protect themselves from closeness, This is one of the clearest demonstrations that love has already bypassed their defenses. So pay close attention to those small future references. Don't dismiss them as casual chatter. To the avoidant, those glimpses into tomorrow are acts of trust. They are silent commitments. They are their way of saying, I see you with me, not just today, but beyond. And when they begin to anchor you into their vision of the future, it's because in their heart, you're already part of it. Love from an avoidant does not arrive wrapped in the same package most people expect. It doesn't always come through flowery words, endless reassurance, or grand romantic gestures. It comes in silence, in subtle actions, in the quiet ways they let you into their space, their routines, and even their fears. To the outside world, these things might seem insignificant, but to them they are monumental. They are the building blocks of intimacy, the whispers of a heart that has been afraid for far too long, now finally daring to reach for connection. It's easy to misunderstand them. Their distance can feel like rejection, their silence can feel like indifference, and their hesitations can feel like avoidance of love itself. But when you look closer, when you learn to read the language of their actions, you realize something profound. They are loving you the only way they know how. Every time they let you in, every time they come back after pulling away, every time they hint at tomorrow with you, they are pushing against their own fears. They are risking vulnerability, and that risk is proof of just how much you already mean to them. The key is to recognize that avoidant love is not shallow or half-hearted. Quite the opposite. It is rare, precious, and deeply intentional. They don't hand it out freely. They don't let just anyone close enough to see behind the walls. If you're witnessing these signs, if you're experiencing their quiet vulnerability, then understand this truth. You've already reached a part of them that most people will never touch. Their love may not shout, but it is steady, it is real, and it is already there. This journey with an avoidant requires patience, compassion, and a deep awareness that progress will not always look like a straight line. There will be times they retreat, moments they hesitate, days they feel overwhelmed by the very closeness they crave. But if they keep returning, if they keep letting you in, if they keep revealing small pieces of their true self, then the love you share is not only alive, it is growing stronger with every step. The push and pull is not proof of weakness, but proof of a love resilient enough to wrestle with fear and still choose connection. So remember this: when an avoidant loves you, it may not look like the movies, but it is no less powerful. In fact, it is perhaps more powerful because it comes wrapped in courage. It is love that has fought through walls of fear, love that has challenged old wounds, love that has risked exposure after years of hiding. If you see the signs, know this: you are already loved, and in their world, that is not small, that is everything. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more powerful insights on love, healing, and connection. Your support means the world, and together we're building a community where growth, awareness, and real transformation are possible. Remember, every step you take toward understanding yourself and others is a step toward a stronger, more authentic life. Keep going, keep learning, and keep believing you are worthy of the love and connection you seek. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay strong, stay true, and never stop growing. Much love and goodbye for now.